Welcome, Maurice. In the watch world, it's hard to come by an aspect of a timepiece that truly stands out from the rest. Many things that were once iconic have been repeated and copied over and over by many brands, and I don't blame them. It's hard to come up with something good, and why bother trying when you can just copy those who do it well? Now, imagine taking a feature that almost every watch has and doing it so well that it propels your product into new heights. Now, I could be talking about innovations in movements, horological masterpieces, or even intricacies and textures on dials. But I'm not. No, I'm focusing on something much simpler, yet so sophisticated when it comes to Grand Seiko, and that's finishing. If you're a watch enthusiast like me, there's a high chance you've heard of Grand Seiko. And if you've heard of Grand Seiko, then you've probably heard of Zaratsu polishing. Omega has the moon, Rolex has the oyster, and Grand Seiko has Zaratsu. But what is it? In short, Zaratsu polishing is a special polishing technique done on a specific piece of equipment used by an extremely skilled craftsman to create a distortion-free surface finish, a mirror-like polish. It sounds like anyone can do it, but this is no easy task. It takes years for a person to become skilled enough to be granted the honor of finishing a Grand Seiko. Grand Seiko wanted to make sure their case could show off and demonstrate their high level of finishing, and thus the 44GS was born. The architecture of the case showcases many angles and sharp lines, while maintaining broad, flat surfaces to really exhibit the brilliant mirrored finish. Grand Seiko is known for their enchanting dials, but when you look at the Zaratsu polishing, you can't help but be drawn into what your eyes are witnessing. The watch doesn't just catch light, it reflects it. It reflects the environment, changing in accordance with the slightest movement of the wrist. It's a truly mind-blowing experience, and I highly recommend you see it for yourself if you've never seen it in the flesh. The geometric structure of the lugs give the case a gem-like appearance and follows that angular design. They make the case interesting to look at and reflect different angles of the environment, giving the watch an eye-catching, sparkling effect. The case is very intricate, and the reflections make it naturally dynamic. When you look at the watch, you're not just looking at a piece of shiny metal, you're looking at the world around you. Just like the many facets of the case, the indices get a similar treatment. They're sharp and broad, with polished, angled flanks. Excellently crafted and finished, they're a perfect tie-in from case to dial. Now you might have noticed something. No lume. The watch doesn't need it. We are focusing on the polishing and finish after all, and lume would ultimately disrupt the cohesive nature of its design. In place of lume, however, are delicate grooves which crown the markers, an added detail which helps to capture the light instead of producing it. In low light settings, the many reflective surfaces of the indices allow for visibility, and it works surprisingly well. The hands are no different. The second hand is polished and rounded, giving it depth and dimension as it glides ever so smoothly across the dial. In the center, you will find a polished and beveled cap, matching that of the power reserve indicator, a cherry on top of the cake. The Dauphine designed hands share the same level of finishing as the markers, polished, sharp edges with a finely brushed surface for contrast. They come to a point to continue the angular aesthetics of the watch and are reminiscent of blades, so sharp they cut you back into reality, saving you from an endless cycle of mesmerization. It's no wonder Grand Seiko is loved by so many. Their attention to detail is superb, and everything seems to be deliberately designed. There are so many aspects of their watches to love, and for me, it's their finishing and how their case design show off that polish. I'm interested to know what your favorite part of a watch is. What do you like about Grand Seiko? Let me know in the comments section, and if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one.